to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Thinking that Tory Lanez using an album to say he didn't shoot Megan Thee Stallion is corny.
The fact that you can have a conversation with someone needing to say that they didn't shoot Megan Thee Stallion is a crazy. The whole thing
is crazy.
We were living in such a crazy time when it was happening that I think it was almost hard to process how crazy the story fully is. It's wild.
No, it's crazy.
People question that she even got shot at first, remember?
Yes.
And he's saying that he
now
didn't
look,
do it
if
at
it
all.
comes out that she made up the whole thing, and but I don't see it.
But
that's why she posted the pictures of her stitches and her wounds. That's how far she had to go so people would believe her.
Well, and so that's my point is like, so this whole time, Tory Lanez claims to, and on this project he just released, claims to still love this girl. They had a thing. He talks about the thing. And them sneaking to see each other and stuff. And not once could he have just tweeted or posted something that was like, I ain't do this, y'all.
Right. And there was a total of 4 people in the car, right? So there's witnesses.
I ain't do this, y'all. Or before she had to say something, because there was that part of it too. Like, she's out here trying to be like, look, I'm traumatized, I'm this. She didn't say Tory's name. She didn't put Tory's name in this.
Until she did that live.
Until she felt like she was forced to.
Right, because she said that a lot of people were putting out these false stories and trying to twist the narrative.
And so prior to her having to do that, the person who's the victim, you mean to tell me you couldn't say, that's not what happened? I love Megan Thee Stallion. This is terrible, without implicating anyone else and without getting into the criminal.
Ebro, there's no way that there would be a legal issue to come out and just say the story you guys are hearing is nothing like what the truth is, and the things being said about me, I was raised better than that. That's absolutely crazy, and I'm heartbroken to know anyone even thinks I could do that. I don't see the legal ramifications of saying that.
So the question is, am I bugging to think that this is corny?
No.
And tacky to put this in an album now?
I'm with you. I just feel like after all this time, you want to talk about this and monetize it. The whole thing is corny to me.
Let's go to Wayne on line 1. Wayne,
Ebro.
am I bugging?
Ebro. A little bit, because at the end of the day, we don't really know if he lying. The little snippets that I heard, he kind of is the story he telling. And y'all focusing on the monetizing part of it, but he just getting his message out the way he can get it out without.
Right, but Wayne, this is a guy that all summer was doing a live, quarantine. He was on IG Live and doing all this. You mean to tell me, so the only issue I have is not him putting out an album. It's him waiting till now after all of this to now say it's not what y'all think it is.
He kind of not only saying it's not, he kind of telling you exactly what it is. I ain't hit up. Y'all bugging. He tells the story. This is all I'm saying. And I ain't even caping for him. But he kind of even says he didn't even hit her. He ain't hit her. He didn't hit her.
I never even heard about no physical hit. I never even heard that.
No, we're talking about
hit. I'm talking about hit shot. I'm talking about hit shot.
That there was she wasn't shot, he's saying.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't hit her.
But Wayne, he couldn't have said that earlier before this waited until an album?
I'm just saying that the time had to cool down. There was a lot being said. Everything cool. I'm not capable for him, mind you. But from the fact he's saying he ain't hit her, I'm kind of like, yo,
a bit of advice, Wayne. A bit of advice. When things are hot and everyone's talking and questioning, I believe it's best at that point when it's hot. If you didn't have anything to do with something, then you say it right then when it's hot. Don't wait until it cools off to make it hot again.
I hear you on that, but I'm thinking the legal situation has a little bit to do with why.
If you didn't do it, how are you implicating yourself if you didn't do it?
Maybe
What are the legal ramifications of saying like that's not who I am? I didn't do it.
I mean, probably lawyers and all that was probably telling
Well,
him.
he got
Damn.
some bad advice.
Fam, what are you talking about?
That's
Well, I
Congratulations.
mean,
You played yourself.
I'm not going to pretend to be a know-it-all who actually knows I've never been involved with anything like this, so I can't say that I know for sure that it was the best idea to do that. I did, when I heard the song, I did have a little part of me that was like, it's weird because we've all assumed we know exactly what happened. And to Ebro's point, that's because he chose to be silent. But at the same time, that doesn't mean we know the truth either.
No, I'm not. But that's why I'm not getting into the truth.
No, you're saying, but do you know for a fact that he could have spoken and said anything? I mean, could there be anything to him being not from the country? I don't know. I'm just trying to, I'm like the caller. I'm not caping for Tory Lanez, but I'm just trying to ask the
Providing
question.
another side. I get it. It's all good. And I guess I have a problem with, I just have a problem with the reality that somebody was shot. A woman says she was a victim. I'm sensitive to that. And no one sooner was like, I didn't do that. That's not what happened. Megan, I love you.
And we saw her injuries.
Because now in the album, you talking about you love somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's why the question is, it's not about whether you believe Tory or believe Megan, or you believe what you've been told. It's, am I bugging to think that this is tacky and whack, that you put out an album to tell your side?
Nah, that part is clean. Because you're trying to make money.
Let's
off
go
of
to
a
Carol
serious
on
situation.
5. Exactly. Now you monetizing it.
Hello?
Carol, what do you have to say? I'm bugging?
I think, you're not bugging about him dropping the album. That was really lame. But I think we're jumping to the gun of, Tory shot Megan. I personally, I wasn't there. We weren't there. But I just don't believe she was shot in the foot. I just don't believe it. And
Why
I feel
not?
like,
Why not? I'm just curious. Why don't you believe it?
because if I was shot in the foot, I'm telling. Like, if you're in the car with me and we sitting next to each other, you got a gun and you just shot me, I'm not keeping my mouth shut about that. I'm not afraid of no cops. If somebody shot me, this boy shot me, is going to be a problem. So I just don't believe.
So you think what about her injuries though that she clearly had to show because people didn't? But what are you talking
What
about?
injuries?
She showed her injuries. She showed her
Where?
wounds on social media.
You showing your injuries, but 5 minutes later you posted up in your bikini talking about how life.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
It
She
does
still
matter.
showed her injuries.
It does matter because at the same time, like, if you're so concerned about or you're so wounded by this shot, the first thing you're not going to do is just, somebody tried to hurt me. Like, one thing about Megan, she's always, what I've known of her.
Oh, here we go.
She's always a victim.
Here
So
we,
it's
you
like-
don't. What are you talking about?
You're pro Tory. Are you a Tory fan?
Wow.
I'm not a fan of neither one.
Are
of
you a
them.
Laniac?
Yo, this sounds so nuts to me. Like Megan isn't allowed to move on. And now you want to dismiss her wounds because she wears a bikini?
The same way we want to protect black women, we need to protect black men too. I'm a mom of 3 little boys, and if women, I'm a woman. If we don't get our way, you did something terrible to me. And that's just on period.
Well,
Wow.
I'll tell you like this, Carol, because you have 3 little boys, please make them accountable for their behavior.
Absolutely.
Hold them
Absolutely. It
accountable
was
for
corny
their
for
behavior.
him to make a record. He should have been talked about it. He should have been had something to say about it. But if this is the way he chooses to display that he is innocent of whatever.
Then that's whack. That's whack that you want to make money off a woman's injury.
Right.
That's whack.
Right.
Let's go to
Unbelievable.
let's go to Orain on line 4. Orain. Am
Hey,
Am I bugging to think that this whole
Ebro, you're not bugging at all, man. I agree with you. That's corny. I think Tory Lanez is a bitch.
for all of that. For the lady that was just on the line just now, it's just hurtful that because of a black woman, is like nobody wants to believe her. I doubt, like, why would she lie that, yo, I got shot? I'm thinking
remember,
that.
And if people remember the order of operations, the first
Mm-hmm.
thing that the information came out that an SUV was pulled over and had a gun in it, and Tory Lanez had a gun, and Megan Thee Stallion got her feet cut by glass.
Yeah.
That was the way the story came out first. And Megan said that she's told the police that her feet got cut by glass because she didn't want to say there was a gun in the car.
I believe, but that's another thing.
She got to the hospital, and they found bullet fragments in
But-
her feet.
That's another thing, Ebro. That's the same thing as how to say it. As a black woman, always protecting another black man. I feel she probably lied in the beginning because of the case of who Tory Lanez is. You know, she probably ran through her head like, yo, she really say this?
And we're finding out now, in confirmation, people speculated the Tory Lanez album, for people who have listened to the new one, he talks about their relationship and that he loves the girl. So that's
another
they
thing
was
involved.
protecting that too.
Yeah, so that's another thing involved why she probably protect, but now she has to came on social media on her live to say it because people is bashing and talking about she's a liar and all this. Like, Tory Lanez is a pussycat for all that. Like, no matter what the situation is, if you're with your girlfriend / side chick, and what's the reason for you to get that angry? What she could have done for you to take out a gun and shoot her twice in her foot?
Listen,
Like, come on, bro.
Thank you. That's a fair call, and I appreciate it. And listen, from the very beginning, my stance was always aggressively in support of Megan, because regardless of the story, she was in a bad circumstance, and she's a woman who was in a situation where she was obviously unsafe. So I want to be clear about that. Simultaneously, now that some time has passed, when we talk about this, we are all telling complete stories. It is so rare that you're talking about a situation that happened, and literally we don't really know anything as a fact.
Well,
We don't know that there was definitely a shooting, do we? Do
Yes,
we know?
We, do.
We
Police
know
said
there was
the
a shooting.
Police said, well, if you believe the police, and they found a gun.
So the police said. So we know
and
there was
she
a
had
shooting.
bullet fragments in her foot. And Megan said, I got shot.
And Megan said she got shot, and
she said, I was the victim.
And Tory Lanez was the shooter.
Yes. She said on her IG, Tory Lanez shot me. Quote. But she didn't do that until she felt like she had to, because everybody kept coming for her. And that's the reason I have a problem with the album, is because the album, you're saying you love this girl, and you waited till now to say that the story isn't what everyone is saying, and I wouldn't do that. I didn't do that. Why didn't you say that before while Megan was being attacked? And that's where the only question I have, maybe he got advice not to, maybe he couldn't because of whatever investigation was going on, but I've never heard of an investigation where you can't deny the allegation.
Maybe like the acknowledgement of him even being around a gun, with him being Canadian citizen, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Maybe. But guess what? They got you in a car with a gun. That happened. The police report is there. It's there.
True.
It's Ebro in the morning, man. Cast 1, 97 minutes commercial free.
Wake